Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, we're drinking bourbon. All right, Ben, how about a classic?
Sometimes you just have to go back to the original hitters, as you said, the classics. Bam, we've got Wild Turkey 101. Okay, funny thing about this bottle.
You know, Ben, we talk about this all the time.
We talk about it all the time. We've never actually reviewed it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because
we've done like 250 reviews and certainly more bottles than that.
Yeah,
and you're telling me.
Yeah. So this one like shows up on all of our lists of like best budget and best of this, best of that. Everybody in the whiskey tube community, I think, this is just kind of a standard beloved bottle.
By almost everyone. There's a few just outliers that are just crazy people.
Maybe. But it's one of those ones that we've talked about a million times in our list whenever we bring this up, that this is kind of one of those ones that gets a bad rap when you're not into bourbon.
Yes, I really was shocked the first time I heard that there was like a Wild Turkey following.
Yeah, exactly, because we all had the same experience. It's when you're young in your 20s or you're in college or something like that, this is kind of like the cheap,
Yep.
And it just gets that reputation. And it wasn't until I actually got into bourbon and started learning about it that I realized that this is actually really good quality.
It really is.
Stuff.
It is really good. I actually really like it.
Yeah,
I
and
agree.
so I thought it'd be fun to actually just do a review, just in case, like I said, everybody in Whiskey Tube kind of knows that, but maybe somebody's watching this that's kind of new to bourbon. Hey, welcome.
Welcome.
And so we just do a proper review of it.
That's a good idea. Now, we did touch on this once. So we were talking, Wild Turkey, they start with a entry-level bourbon that's called 81 proof. And we were talking one day, and neither one of us had ever had it. We just skipped right to the 101.
Yep. Yeah, so we did a comparison. So we've done that. We've had this in other videos like comparisons.
Sure.
But never just a standalone review. 6 to 8 year juice. Mm-hmm. It says high rye, but I think it's like in the 13%.
I think it's
I don't know
13.
that I consider that to be high rye by today's.
Maybe 20 years ago that was a high rye mash bill, but there's certainly people pushing well past that and going into the barely legal type.
But the 101 proof point is great. On the nose, it's just got, it's a classic bourbon.
So Wild Turkey didn't do a bunch of different expressions, but they have one mash bill.
One mash bill, yep.
And
they've got the rye mash bill, but one bourbon mash bill.
Yeah, okay. But
a lot of cinnamon.
Really, really interesting stuff, and I'm a big fan of their products.
Cinnamon and corn sweetness.
I bet there is a cinnamon flavored chocolate, like a chocolate bar that has cinnamon in it. I can't think of one right now.
That would remind you of this?
Yeah, because there's a hint of a chocolatey note.
Well, let's get into the palate and see if it matches up. Cheers. You just can't go wrong.
It's almost like almost like honey sweetness at the beginning. Not super sweet, but like almost like the feeling of honey, but then it doesn't have the sweetness that comes with honey.
It's got a different kind of sweetness. Leans in more into the corn sweetness. It does have a kind of a corn note to it. Mm-hmm. That cinnamon really comes through nice. Barrel char comes through.
And then you get like the vanilla and the wood spice come through. So it's really noticeable barrel.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just like an all-around, well-rounded classic bourbon.
Yeah.
And
at the price point, what are they, in the low 20s?
Mid-20s for a liter.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, when I first got into bourbon, I didn't realize that this had such a following and that was kind of regarded as a great pour. So the first time I had it, aside from taking shots of it back in my 20s.
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count, yeah.
Drinking it neat and...
Or I had it on the rocks, and it was still a little bit much for me at the 101 proof point because it was very new to bourbon and I was still in that lower proof. So that's the one thing, for beginners, I would definitely recommend that you work your way to that 100 proof point. And when you get there, that's a good one. As far as like any sort of like budget level 100 proofer, this one is kind of the top of the list for for a lot of people.
Boy, that sounds like a really good video, actually. Because
It could be. Well, we need proof points.
Well, yeah, but just like in the about bottle bond range, right in that area, budget pours. I mean, Old Forester 100, which is not the bottle bond version, but
Early Times 100 would.
Yep.
For me. But I think just as a regular kind of standalone go-to, budget-friendly 100 proof, or people are going to say Wild Turkey 101. It's going to be at the top of most people's lists, I think.
I think I personally would say Evan Williams is right in that category.
As well, yep.
And I don't know, in a blind flight, who knows which one would win.
I think we've actually done that.
It depends on the day because they could vary.
Yeah.
But this one is...
But point is, this is a very standard...
But it's really, really good. And I think... The point I'm making is if you've skipped it, if you went straight to cast strength or you straight to unicorns.
Or skip this for other more expensive 100 proof bottles, don't skip this. Don't sleep on this one if you're new to it and you haven't had it. But again, if you're brand new to bourbon and you're still drinking stuff in that 80 to maybe 94 proof,
sure,
this is going to be your next step up. But if you're used to 80 proof stuff, this is going to seem like a little bit of a punch
It's noticeable
because it's 100 proof. But any 100 proof bourbon will at that point.
Most of them.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's just one of those ones, you just can't say enough good things about it. For the price, available literally everywhere.
Everywhere.
For just a fantastic utility bourbon, you can do cocktails with this, you can drink it neat, you can drink it on the rocks. It holds up to all of that.
This is the bottle, not this exact bottle, but Wild Turkey 101 is the bottle I actually experimented with for a year and put it in the freezer because it won't freeze. Yep. Now, when you get whiskey really cold, it doesn't freeze, but it definitely turns it thicker and drinks totally different.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, it gets thicker and drinks totally different, but in the hottest summer, and today happens to be like 1,000 degrees out, that would be the kind of day when you go for the frozen Wild Turkey 101.
It's going to be in the 90s today, which for us in Minnesota is hot. So.
Exactly.
Thinking of all the people in the Southwest.
Yeah, they've been suffering for months, and we're,
complaining about our 90-degree weather.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, what do you say about this? Everyone knows it's great, and if you don't know it's great, now you do. Go out, get yourself a bottle of this and try it.
Yeah.
Totally. All right, well, this has been Wild Turkey 101 on the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Till next time. See you next time.